Hello, everybody. God bless. Hope y'all are doing well. So it's been an exciting week. I'm sure everybody is on their toes. So this is a part two to help me, and let's see where it goes. um, so I know that most of the people on this channel are filled with the Holy Spirit. They ask good questions. They seem to get the teaching that's going forth. Excuse me, guys. It's been a long day, but anyway. Um, we all know that judgments are close in hand. Whether you think they're, within a couple months or within a couple of weeks, days, maybe, that's up to you. But most of everybody, I think, thinks they're very close at hand. Um, for some, this means a rapture. For some, it means translation and helping the next church. Others thinks it's, we're going to go through the tribulation and have to look for our own food and water and all those different things. So, whatever the Lord has shown you, that's between your walk and Him. I've come to learn in this over this since 2012 is you can stand on your soapbox and tell this person A that this is going to happen, this is going to happen, and this is going to happen. But if they have a different path chosen by God, it's not going to matter what you say. They're focused on what they got to do, and that's what they got to do. If they're focused on we're going through tribulation and I need to save, 200 bags of rice, then that's what God has told them to do. God has told me to do this, and just with the same drive as anybody else, this is what I'm doing. So, individual walks, individual paths, individual relationships. That said, this video might not be for you. It just might not. But anyway, I'm going to get started. And if you feel like this is, then hang on and take a look and see what's in it. Okay, so with all of that in mind, what I want to do is kind of unveil a mystery, but at the same time, I'm not just going to come out and tell you what I think is the whole mystery. I'm going to leave it up to you to research a little bit. It shouldn't take you too much, but research a little bit and see what you think, if you felt led to. Otherwise, this is just good to know information. So what first caught my attention, a while back, was this number, 2317. Very simple number. But these numbers are mentioned at pivotal moments in two different movies. Okay? So I watched Star Trek Into the Darkness with Khan. Now, I'm not a big Star Trek, fan, whatever. But we did watch that one. And he's talking with old Captain Kirk, I guess his name is. And he's like, there's 72 reasons. That caught my attention right away, obviously, because of Helpmeet number 1. You should know that. There are 72 missiles on your ship, and maybe you should open one up and see what's inside. Well, you look inside, and it's a human, and he goes on to explain that it's a superhuman. It's this well-enhanced, advanced in every way, shape, and form human. So that was a tension getter. And then he gives this code of, go to these coordinates, 23171146, and you'll see what I'm talking about, which happens to be Jupiter. And I'm going to give you a link, and you need to watch this clip probably before you continue too far. And so that's movie 1, 2317, part 1. 2317, part 2 is the movie Passengers, one of the last scenes. If you don't know much about the movie Passengers, two people are stranded on a ship, male and female. He ends up getting killed, but there's what they call an auto dock, which they can put him in. She needs a code to get the sequence going to save his life, and the code is 2317. So I heard those, and they struck a chord with my spirit. So, due to copyright strikes being handed out on YouTube, like a used car salesman's business cards, I'm not going to be playing them on here. So, I'll give you the links. You can take a look at them and jump back into this video, and we'll continue. So, I'll pause right there. So, go watch the videos. Okay, I'm back. All right. So if you've watched the videos, then you see exactly what I'm talking about. Something's just not right here. So the Google Drive for this study is very important, as there are so many rabbit holes that this goes down, and it took me for a huge loop. All right. But I've saved everything. I've categorized everything, I think, fairly well, that you can walk through this. It's not that hard, but there's just so many different things that go with it. That's interesting, that I think you'll enjoy. Second thing is there's other people involved that are unbeknownst. Pastor Sandy did a series, a very great series, on decoding the number 17. That's in the Google Drive. It's like two 2-hour sessions, or 2 1-hour sessions of him talking about this, and he walks you right through it. And we will too. We're going to spend a lot of time on this, but he's done a great study. Sabine does an outstanding study on Gemini and the planet movements of what's going on right now, and Gemini does tie into this. I'll explain that here in a little bit. So anyway, and also the Groks. He has shown me a lot with the 23. I see it all the time in his videos, 23, 23. So anyway, he's keyed me in on that number to look at. So I just want to say thank you to those guys, and thank you, Lord, for bringing their hearts and minds together for this video, if unbeknownst to them. But anyway, it worked out great. So now that you watched the video clips, there's a few things. 2317 was a passcode for saving a life, and also coordinates, which happens to be Jupiter, or Jesus, the king planet. We have 72 rockets, which is course is half of 144. The rockets contain supreme beings, not warheads, as the movie later will disclose to you. Supreme beings that have advanced enhancements. Does this sound familiar? It should. Why is the scientist in the movie Into the Darkness named Eve? It's going to be a common theme here in a couple different things. All right. In the movie Passengers, both Jim and Aurora Gold get married and turn the ship into a modern-day Garden of Eden. Kind of odd. The ship Avalon, which means apples, okay, which is kind of funny, is actually have an Avalon right down the road, and it's one of those centers where people live and can shop. It's kind of a higher class neighborhood. But anyway, I always like going there. They have the good coffee shops and stuff. Of course, a lot of these movies contain untruth, and they can throw you off if you're not paying attention. So it's important to pay attention. It's important to know the Bible. All right, but there are truths in these that you can extrapolate out of the videos, out of the movies themselves. Okay. So Face Off is another one that I just watched recently, and it has a Gemini theme with the two main villains of Castor and Pollux Troy. They are antagonists to Eve and her husband, Sean Archer. Sean means to sit, by the way. All right, so keep that in the back of your mind. That should ring a bell to you right now. We sit in heavenly places. We know that Michael stands up at the end of the age. We have Archer, which goes back to our new moon with Jonathan and David. We discussed Jonathan in the previous video, so this should ring a bell to you. Eve and Sean have a son named Michael, who was killed, clearly being an enemy of this guy, Castor. He was actually trying to kill Sean, but he ends up shooting Michael. And then they have actually his antagonist here, Castor, and his girlfriend have a son named Adam. So you have Adam, Eve, Michael, all these different things going on in this movie. It's actually about the destruction of the image of God, if you really look at the movie closely. and that's the face off. It's also kind of goes back to facing off, Michael and Satan facing off, is what it goes to. But anyway, the movie's in there, and I have some notes and stuff on there. So we have a new moon coming up. It's actually right now in Gemini, and on the eighth day of August, August 8th, we are seeing the new moon that will move out of Gemini, and it's going to go into, I think it ends up right outside of Leo, or Cancer, I'm sorry, right on top of the sun at full new moon. And that goes back to our Back to the Future, seeing 88 everywhere, 88 miles per hour, okay? And are out of time. Excuse me, I'm going to get a drink. Okay, so we have all this stuff converging, so it's very hard for me to kind of keep it organized, if we will. All right, so now that we have 2317 on your mind, hold fast to it. We'll come back to it. All right, but we're going to start with Gemini first. Okay, Gemini is about two brothers. No, it's not about two brothers. Okay, there's a secret here that the enemy has tried to destroy for a very long time. All right. Okay, so according to this guy, Eric Hale, all right, he's a prophet, African American, very charismatic. He's on YouTube, and he is taking the place by storm. Okay, he predicted the Alaska earthquake, the 8.1 that happened in July, I believe. Okay, and he has come out with several words. A friend of mine types them up and sends them out. So, according to him, we have twin 9.1 earthquakes that are going to hit very soon. I could hear tsunami warnings going off. Everybody was running to higher ground. Fathers will not look for their children. The earthquake and tsunami are about to hit near Japan. It was also at the end or the closing ceremony time frame, is what he said. He also said that he is there warning people when this occurs. Now, he's in the United States right now, so however he's going to get there, I don't know. But we're going to look at Gemini a little bit. Again, twins, new moon. Okay. Gemini, first thing that Ethelbert Bullinger says is all the pictures of this sign are confused. The Greeks claimed they had invented them, and they called them Apollo and Hercules. They are also given our illustration. The Latins called them Castor and Pollux, the name of the vessel in which Paul also in Acts 28 goes on from there. Okay, so we're going to look at this a little closer. So this is the Dendera chart, and this is Gemini on the Dendera. And it's definitely a male and a female walking, holding hands. And some things I found, just marriages mentioned in the Bible in 88 instances. All the pictures of this sign are confused. The Greeks claim blah, blah, blah. Okay, so Acts 28, he talks about Alexandria. We're going to talk about Alexandria here in just a second, okay? So the name in the ancient Dendera zodiac is Clusis in Colostrum, which means the place of him who comes. It is so here we go. Right away we're getting some sort of, hopefully, link up going on. It is represented by two human figures walking or coming. The second appears to be a woman, the other appears to be a man. It's a tailed figure symbolizing that he comes. I'm not sure what this means, tail figure. It does appear like he's got some sort of thing coming down there. And it gives the Coptic name of United in Brotherhood, which goes back to the Church of Philadelphia, Revelation 7:1 through 11. Now, 2317, you're going to see a lot of references with 23 or 17 in the study. Just take mental note of them when you do see them. All right, there's one. So United Church of Brotherhood is obviously the Church of Philadelphia, Revelation 7. Alexandria we're going to get to here in a minute. I just want to make sure I got this done here. So, okay. So this is there's our tail, what we're talking about. This is the rendition of obviously Adam and Eve holding hands. We have passengers holding hands. We have, these are drawings from the Egyptian Dendera of them holding hands. So there's no way to me that this is two men. Okay, so when you look at this verse here, Exodus 26, this is where it goes. And it says, and they shall be coupled together beneath, and they shall be coupled together above the head of it unto one ring. Thus shall it be for them both. They shall be for two corners. I don't know what that really means. I know he's talking about the building of the temple, but it seems to have a little bit of a deeper meaning to me. Obviously, the ring, you have corners coupled together. You go to that word coupled, and it talks about joined together to bear twins. You have 88 and 23 in this concordance number. 88 and 23. Now it's 832. I'm sorry, 8382, but you do have the two numbers there. Okay. So Castor and Pollux are only mentioned in Acts 28, and they're mentioned with a ship with the sign of Alexandria. Alexandria gets its name from the derivative of Alexander. We see him as this Jesus carry the cross in Mark 15:21. Here we get another 23 reference in the concordance. Alexandros, man defender. Okay? So keep these little hints in the back of your mind, man defender. And at that time, the defender of your people, right? So keep these in the back of your mind. So Alexandros from the same as man defender, Alexander, 3 Israelites. Here we go. All right. What I failed to mention in 26:23 is that the coupling reference in Strong you saw also comes back to the word curse. So when we go up here, this does come back to curse. So coupled, bear twins. I'm not sure where it's at. Maybe I put it down here. Okay, I did. They come from the same root word. As I was looking at this, it really took me for a loop. Then, of course, I remembered we are under a curse from Genesis 3:15. And that's what we're under, guys. That's what this whole thing's about, is this is all going to be reversed. Okay, so we are under this curse right at this moment. And we're going to get into that, okay? But what's going to happen is this curse is going to be reversed with the changing of our bodies and all that stuff, and everything that I've been telling you, all right, is going to be reversed. So here's Resolution 88 for Marriage Protection Amendment that was declined. Just another 88 reference. Essentially, it was that marriage consists of the union of a man and woman, period. And it failed at the House right here. We also had twins, 88 film. We had twins in the Old Testament is 8380. All right, so again, another 88 reference. Eve came from the side of Adam, essentially from the same flesh. It's twins. Okay. So what happens on the 8th day? We know we have circumcision. All flesh is cut off. We also have Leviticus 12:3, which is the solemn assembly. And I thought of soul assembly, maybe lifted up. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. Adam was formed on the 8th day after the Father's rest. Eve was taken from the side of Adam. So let us recap. This is a lot of information. And no, I did not forget about 2317. We have a new moon in Gemini crossing through. Okay. We also have on the 21st of August the anniversary of the Great Eclipse. Okay. So that's coming up too. All right. We also have, this new moon joins Castor and Pollux Troy on the 6th. So that happened today. It actually peaked at the top up there. I don't have the stellarium pulled up, but I just turned the 7th as of right now when I'm looking at my clock. So the moon will be completely new on 8/8. Twins, marriage, man, and woman. All this stuff going on here. Just prior to the actual date. Okay, so the new moon will actually come to rest on top of this. I'm actually going to pull this up so you can see it, guys. Hold on. Okay, so here we are, August 7th. If I could do this, it takes us right to exactly where we are. So there's the moon. What it did earlier, I thought was interesting. I was kind of expecting maybe something to happen. Maybe something did. I don't know. But the moon ended up. If I get this thing to going, I'm sorry. Ended up right over this star right here, K Gem, and that means lion's paw. Or I thought one of them did. It went over, but actually eclipsed that star right there. Which I thought, oh man, that looks huge. So here you have the moon, you have Pollux and Castor. So it didn't happen, but keep watch, right? So the moon on the 8th is actually going to go right on top of the sun on. Sorry, there we go. Get your car sick. Right here, about 8 o'clock in the morning. I don't know if it's perfect right there, but so it's 3/8. If this thing would stop. Okay, so there's the moon at full new over the sun. Okay, I saw a couple videos where some people were likening it to the moon or the sun, the moon catching the sun, and all kinds of stuff. So I don't know, something's brewing, that's for sure. But anyway, of course, you have all the other planetary alignments going on too. So anyway, I wanted to show that to you just so we're clear on everything. Okay. All right, so here we go. Back again. So we had the twin earthquakes, heart quakes. If you rearrange the words of earth, you get heart from Accurate Prophet of God, happening around or the closing ceremonies of the Olympics in Japan. He stated he was there warning people either God will translate him there or he must have some sort of plane ticket. 2317. So Pastor Sandy of Soldiers Christ Church gives two-part series on the number 17. I've included them in the Google Drive. The series is called 17, tells the whole story. There's an additional one in the folder as well. 17, when you look at Strong's Concordance, you get sorrow. Does this reflect back to Genesis 3:16, where labor pains were greatly increased? What about the end of the age in Matthew 24? These are the times of sorrows. Obviously, Revelation 12, you have the woman clothed with sun standing on the moon and travailing with pains to be delivered. It's the destruction of the innocents is how he sees it. Okay, how the enemy sees this. The word is the word is only surprisingly mentioned in the Old Testament once, and that's here, and I believe it's Numbers 20. I'd have to re-look it up because I cut it off when I did the screenshot. But it says, woe, who has woe? Who has sorrow? Who has contentions? Who has babbling? Who has wounds without cause? Who has redness of eyes? Now, I'm going to be honest. I looked at this chapter, and I was like, I'm really not sure what all this is referring to. But it's the only time it's used there, and it doesn't give really anything else away from that point. But the word is called a boy, which I thought was really funny, considering we have a man-child being birthed in Revelation 12. A boy. So, anyway, take that for what it's worth. So, yeah, the chapter hasn't been revealed to me, but for now, for obvious reasons, it coincides, obviously, with what we're talking about. And this is a different type of program used, just to show that variant. So below is from Jubilees. Let's take a look at this. It's concerning Adam and Eve and the serpent, and also our great flood. So here we have the 17th day of the month. The serpent came and approached the woman. And this was the second month. It says up here, the second month on the 17th day of the month, the serpent came and approached the woman, and the serpent said to the woman, has Yahweh commanded you that you should not eat of every tree in the garden? And he knows that you will be as gods, opening up your eyes to good and evil. Of course, we know they lost their nature. This is going to be reversed, okay? Because we are going to be put into our new bodies, birthed essentially into our new bodies. And this is Noah. Noah made the ark in all the respects and commanded, and we have here at verse 23 of chapter 5, on the 17th evening, he opened up the 7 floodgates of heaven, okay? Now, one thing I'll probably mention here later, but I might forget, is if you do some research on bitter waters, that is a very, Numbers chapter 5 is one of them, and that's like a huge one. But essentially, I'm going to pull up a couple pictures here. The bitter waters is a the problem we have now with the amniotic fluid. This is the placenta, the tree of knowledge of good and evil. This is Egypt. You have the bitter lake here in Egypt. You have all the dust. This all coincides with Numbers chapter 5. In the Forbidden Fruit series, I did a video on it. All right, but this is what causes the curse. This is the curse, the bitter waters. So Strong's H88 means water sacks. And that's essentially what we are. We're water sacks. We're filled. We're 80% water as human beings. So the sin that's in us is what's got to be fixed. And what happened at Marah, they put the tree into the river or the water and it turned sweet. And it was basically the Lord, allowed him to drink there because, it taught him that lesson. The bitter waters, Numbers chapter 5, very good information. I was going to put in here, it's just going to be too long. So let's go. Keep going. In Greek, 17 is very simple. To do good, to do well. For this with the will of God, that by doing good you should put silence to the ignorance of the foolish people. Live as people who are free, not using your freedom as a cover-up for evil, but living as servants of God. Honor everyone, love the brotherhood, fear God. Doing well, right? And even told Cain, if thou doest well, thou shalt be accepted. Okay, doing well, virtuous, acting rightly, doing well. So we get into the man-child a little bit, and we get into the hidden ones a little bit. And this is about Moses. And the woman conceived, bare a son, and when she saw him, he was a goodly child, and she hid him for 3 months. All right. This is about David fled from Saul, and he hid in the fords of En-Gedi. Now, we're going to talk about the fords of En-Gedi here in a little bit, so I'm sorry. This is actually a little premature, but put this in the back of your mind. Try to remember that I referenced this earlier, but it's been a long day, and I've been working on this. But anyway, just remember the fords of En-Gedi, he hid, okay? It gets into when we talk about in Ezekiel 47 about the fish. All right, so being under curse, bringing forth fruit, good fruit, requires much labor, good seed, and the increase of these causes much pain and bitterness. Right now, there are those who are hidden, who are finishing the sorrows in the process. However, at the right birthing moment, they will come forth as children of light. And these children, they will inherit the same nature as Adam and Eve did so before the curse. 17 is the completed work. The folder is full of confirmations and videos that can highlight this explanation. It highlights Joseph, who was 17 when he was taken by his brothers and later in prison. But then, obviously, he was birthed into a great leader, a great king. Not king, but you know what I'm saying. He was a great number 2 answering over to Pharaoh. But he had to go through imprisonment. He had to go through all those trials. In Exodus 12, the lamb is taken in on the home on the 10th day. It is kept till the 14th day and then killed that evening. And the Lamb of God rose again on the 17th day. All right, following that same exact pattern. So it's the completed process of life, as a child of God. You go through these things, but at the end is the reward, the fruit, right? Okay. So, tying light to good, we have let there be light, and there was light, and God saw that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. All right. Here we have 17:14. From men which are thy hand, O Lord, from men of the world which have their portion in this life, whose belly thou fillest with thy hid treasure. They are full of children, and leave the rest of their substance to their babes. John 1:1. Light's mentioned 7 times. 7:1, 1:7. And the light of men, the light shineth, the light, witness to the light. He was not that light, but sent to bear witness to the light. Again, you being birthed as a child of God, the finished product. Okay, so here's that Ezekiel 47 in Getty. All right, there we go. Now, the 17 here and the 153, I took down from Pastor Sandy's notes. So I can't remember how he got them. I think it was just the Hebrew gematria. Okay, so now I had returned, and behold, the bank of the river, there were many trees on one side of the other. This is the remnant. This is them producing fruit. Okay. Then he said to me, these waters issue toward the east county and go down to the desert and then out to the sea, which being brought forth into the sea, the waters shall be healed. They want the healing, the good news, the gospel. And it shall come to pass that every living thing that lives, which moves, whitherso the rivers shall come and live, that there shall be a very great multitude of fish, because these waters shall come hither, for they shall make thee healed, and everything shall live, whether the river comes. And it shall come to pass that the fishers shall stand upon it from Engedi to Englam, and they shall be a place to spread forth their nets. Their fish will be according to their kinds, as the fish of the great sea, and exceeding many. So this is just a picture of the harvest workers working with a different analogy here. So you have the great multitude of fish. That's the generations. That's the multitudes that aren't quite ready yet. But you can do a word study. I think I included maybe a couple things on here. I know they're in the Google Drive. I think it's a well that springs forth, and I can't remember what this one was, but they tie back to people working this harvest. This is exactly what it is. The desert is the wilderness, poor earth, poor soil, poor flesh for seed to take root. So anyway, that's that reference there. So if you need to take a break, now's a good time to take a break. If you want to pause, we'll continue. And 23 is going to go real quick with our 2317. So, all right, we'll take a break if you want. Okay, so bringing forth the kingdom of God has been like this: sorrow, labor pains, bitterness, and all that's because of the sin that we carry. Okay, with the judgments, the children of light, the process will be much easier. People will want to pursue the kingdom, be receptive to the good seed. Teaching, leading, production of fruit will come much easier. Another focus of research on this topic is the apple of the eye. We'll get into it a little bit at the end. Again, Psalm 17 and Psalm 7, which alludes to building the kingdom. So the 23 is easy. We're all surrounded by this number 23. We see it everywhere. There's movies on it. There's John Kerry's in one. We have Michael Jordan. We have Psalms 23. We have Red Bull from the Chicago Bulls. Gives you wings. Air Jordan. Jordan is one of the last allies of Israel. Michael Jordan. So all those different references, and there's more in the Google Drive. And Strong's H23 is Ebisaph, which means my father has gathered, or my father is gathering. Could this be a solemn assembly? Maybe. What I found most interesting, though, is that both 23 and 43 mean the exact same, just a slightly different spelling. So, just to show you that, you have Strong's H43, H23. Father has gathered, father has gathered. Abisaph, and just a slightly different spelling of the other. So our mysterious 2317 can actually be 4317. Can it not? So I was shocked when I saw that, and that actually produces Michael. So 4323 are the same in concordance. So at that time, Michael shall stand up. H4317 or 2317. In Michael's name, you have all these other purple numbers that you can click on to get different concordants. And this was one of them for 4310. Goodly. So if you've listened to my videos about the war in heaven, you'll understand that the system fails due to the word of their testimony by the blood of the Lamb. Michael and his angels bring forth the truth, not watered down, not a false gospel, but the truth of all things. With no foundation to lay hold of in the heavens, the stars will fall, the wicked angels. This is the work of the Father and Son's Spirit, not man. The curse in Genesis 3 made the waters bitter, thus making the kingdom come forth toilsome. Just like the Lord told Adam, by the sweat of your brow, which the curse reversed, putting on light and establishing sound, tangible doctrine and the beauty of conducting miracles in the name of our King, and the kingdom will push forward quickly. I've placed a small parallel study in the folder like bitter water, verses about the apple of the eye, all confirming movie trailers and screenshots of all kinds of different things. Okay, so Adam and his wife Eve had begotten Seth and other sons and daughters. When we look at Eve, her number is H2332, the mother of all living, first woman Adam, with a first woman, wife of Adam. We have mother of all living, which is H517. Seed in the Bible, Zerah. We have H2233, H2232. Pretty much the same thing, but different numbers nonetheless. He had daughters, he had sons, the apple of the eye. Sons, this also goes back to Adam, he's H121. You can look at all these and get all kinds of clues, right? Deuteronomy 32:23 backwards. He found him in a desert land, in the howling waste of the wilderness. He encircled him, cared for him, kept him as the apple of his eye. Like an eagle that stirs up a nest and flutters over its young, spreading out its wings, catching them, bearing them up on its pinions. And the Lord alone guided him. No foreign god was with him. So, guys, that's it. I'm going to pull up a couple things if you want to hang around. So what you see here is a confirmation is what it was. Okay. Got the number 8851. So I know Strong's doesn't go up. I don't think it goes past 5 something. I know the Greek doesn't, but I couldn't remember. And started just looking at these numbers. And so if you do it backwards, 1588, you get this. Picking out to choose for oneself, choosing out of many. Jesus choosing his disciples, choosing one for an office, choosing whom he judged fit to receive his favors, and separated from the rest of mankind to be particularly his own, to be attended to continually for his gracious oversight. Sorry. 1588. Let's see here. Garden. H1588. Garden enclosed. We talked about man defender, right? Alexander. To protect, defend, cover, surround. Adam was to hedge it, remember? Picked out, chosen. So, anyway, this was a confirmation. That was the time. Or not the time, but the whatever this is. Some reference. I thought it was interesting. Let's see here. Yeah, 23, another 23 on there. Let's see here. Let me pause this real quick. So waters is very, this is waters here, okay? It goes back to semen. Now we know there's waters above, there's waters on the earth. God divided the waters from above and below, and from essentially left to right, quadrant, whatever. Waters are it's the semen, it's a seed, but it's like the I'm trying to think. Let me think a minute. Like it's perpetual. It's going to continue until it stops. There's no way to stop it. It's not like, we know Satan and Eve. It's not like it's a continuous thing, but it happened, and now it's continued all throughout the races of the world, all throughout humanity, and it just won't stop. And it continues and it perpetuates like a river. If you study the river like Gihon, that was a good one. You have waters that burst forth, the waters that flow and rushing. It's like a flood. God, I'm trying to think of a better way to put it. Maybe it'll come to me. Let's go through a couple of these. Let's see. I wanted to show you there's Noah. Dang it. Here we go. Okay, here's the Numbers 5. This is really important. So this is a jealousy offering. Okay. The priest would take this woman, okay, the holy water, earthen vessel, from the dust of the floor of the tabernacle. All right, there you have your dust again, just like we showed you in the picture. She'll take it, put it in the water. The priest shall set the woman before the Lord, uncover her head, and offer, put the memorial offering in her hands, which is for a jealousy offering, man jealous for his wife, right? And the priest shall have his hand the bitter water that causes the curse. All right, that's what it's all about. The priest shall charge by oath and say to the woman, if no man has laid with you, and thou have not gone aside in uncleanliness with another instead of your husband, then you'll be free from the bitter water that causes the curse. But if now, I'm sorry, but the King James Version just gets on my nerves sometimes. But if you have gone aside to another instead of thy husband, and if you be defiled, and some man have lain with you besides thine husband, then the priest shall charge the woman with an oath of cursing. All right, when you start to look at these words here, it goes back to kind of like a Nephilim type thing. All right, when you start to really study the Thydorot, which is Nephal or Nephal, something like that. Billy DeSwell, I'd have to look at all of them again. It's been a while. But this is a good chapter to understand, this is what happened in the garden. This is why. Okay, so if no man shall charge an oath with another man, the bitter water that causes the curse is going to be reversed. That's the whole point of this. Bitter water that causes the curse. All right, guys, I'm going to let y'all go. Have a good night, and God bless. Take care.